This is Carmen. Once a stray, she is now an honorary permanent resident of a world-class, one-of-a-kind, five-star hotel, the Hotel Negresco. On France's beautiful Mediterranean coast, the Negresco stands prominently as a lavish treasure in an area that is naturally breathtaking. How is it that Carmen is accepted in this first-class environment? What makes the Negresco different from other luxurious hotels? Part of it is its sole proprietor, Madame Jeanne Auger. The other part is history. The idea began in the 20th century, just a little before 1913, and the idea, of course, was that of Henri Negresco, who was a Romanian. Henri Negresco had been successful in the food business on his own steam beforehand, but then in the beginning of the 20th century, he decided that he wanted to create an exceptional hotel, and to do so, he employed exceptional architects. For example, Edouard Nierman and then Gustave Eiffel, who was also the designer of the Eiffel Tower. They'd done a great deal of exquisite work in Negresco's Salon Royal.
Many years ago, I was asked by NYU to do a program in Provence. And Nice, of course, was one of our stops. And here was this outrageously beautiful hotel, which was actually right near the much more modest hotel where we were staying. And I went in and had a Negroni at the Negresco. I went in with a good friend of mine from New York, a writer, and I think we were just in awe of this magnificent place and wondered about its history, knew nothing about it, but just really enjoyed soaking up the atmosphere. But my first Negroni in the Negresco was a memory.
The hotel saw the birth of tourism. Henri Negresco was one of the precursors of tourism. He saw what this could be. As a matter of fact, at the beginning of the hotel, Henri Negresco received all of the crowned heads at the time. They all came here. He received the most famous people in the world. But then, due to need, the hotel was transformed into a hospital during World War I. After World War I, a Belgian society bought the hotel. Negresco himself died shortly after.
Because the Negresco has gone through several cycles of evolution since Henri Negresco created the hotel in 1912, by 1913, as you know, it was already a great success. It has gone through many paroxysms. It was a hospital during World War I. It fell into disuse. It was used to harbor refugees in World War II. It was bought by Madame Auger and Monsieur Auger in 1957. Throughout all this time, what happened at the Negresco was that different periods of art became collected by the different people that were there.
What Madame Auger wanted to do was to give back to the Negresco the original splendor it had once had after the First World War. She wanted this to become once again a great French hotel. She adores France and she adores art, so she wanted the Negresco to represent France through its rooms, its management, its food, its artists, all of the main periods of art, and also the art of other countries as well. You could call this hotel, if you would, a hotel museum. This is a hotel that represents France through art.
So you've got some very traditional art. You have, for example, 17th century paintings by Hyacinthe Rigaud, who was the official painter of Louis XIV, the Sun King. You have paintings of Louis XV. You have paintings of Hortense Mancini, who was the sister of Louis XIV's first great love. And then you've got these outrageous sculptures, absolutely beautiful, great big female sculptures that revolve by Niki de Saint-Phal, who was a friend of the present owner. I like the fact that in the Negresco there is an unself-conscious attempt to embrace many periods of art instead of feeling that you have to stick to one style. And that's because I think the present owner, Madame Auger, is comfortable enough with herself to say, I love traditional things, I love the 17th century, the great era of French art and literature, but I also love modern things. And she's not afraid to play. And I think the feeling that you get when you're in the Negresco is one of great awe and great respect of a wonderful institution, and at the same time, a tremendous sense of play.
We have more than 140 rooms and 27 suites. Naturally, there are, as everywhere, different categories of rooms, and in progressive order of price going up. The least expensive ones first, for example, are those which do not have a view of the sea. These are the rooms that face the north. Then you have the rooms which face the garden, which go for a little bit more, and finally rooms that have a beautiful view of the Mediterranean. Prices go from about €250 per night to €1,700 per night. Naturally, a junior suite or a full suite would be more expensive, and as a matter of fact, the more expensive the room is, the more the decoration of the room, the decor of the room, and the furniture of the room will be of a richer content.
I think the Negresco sets a standard for Nice. It's something elegant, wonderful. Thanks to Madame Augier, it doesn't sacrifice its level of service, but I would say that also it is a little distant from the Nice people themselves, because essentially a hotel that's that expensive is one that will cater to well-heeled tourists who are going to always be in the minority anywhere. We can't say that Versailles, outside of Paris, is not good for the French people because it's so splendid. It establishes a standard. And when you have a great standard and someone cares enough to keep that standard up, the standards in the area in general tend to be raised because people always have it to look at. They always have it as an example. And I think it's very important to have people such as Madame Augier around to be stubborn about quality and to keep quality up. She is, and that hotel is, they both are, a force in keeping standards up in the city of Nice.
What we want to do in the future is to continue to be what we've always been, a spot that is historical, that is famous, and that gives a unique experience to its guests. We want to have a hotel that gives the greatest comfort and all the attentions that a tourist can hope for today, as well as the highest technologies.
Actually, animal rights is the great passion of the life of Madame Augier, whose first name is Jeanne Augier. She has been widowed now for 12 years, so she's been running this hotel alone. She's 84 years old, and many years ago, she started on a crusade to ban bullfighting worldwide. That was actually one of the reasons that I became interested in her as a person, because on a subsequent visit to Nice, I noticed that she had great big posters all over the place against bullfighting. Victor Hugo, for example, great 19th century French poet, who said that when you harm a bull, you're not just torturing an animal, you are torturing your own conscience. He was also appalled by this. And then I saw that cat.
The cat's name, of course, is Carmen, and she's our cat. She's the hotel cat. We don't know what images are going around in her head, but she's our furry friend, and she basically has the run of the place. She is a part of us. I think when you have domestic animals around you, they have a way of comforting you and reassuring you. She's quite the personality of this place, and you can find her all over.
I find it remarkable that she runs this hotel. She really runs this hotel at age 84, and she runs it well. She has a hand in every decision that is made, and yet she has time at age 84 for her whole heart to go out to animals, and she puts all of this time into it. I think she's a very admirable human being, and I hope when I grow up I'm going to be just like her.